I am done pretending that I don't want a man. I am done with all of this strong, independent woman. I am even done with all of this loving my solo life, solo date, single era, all that self-love. I'm done with it all. There, I said it. I said it. If you are new here, welcome to the You Deserve Better podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Harrison, and today we are talking about calling in the divine masculine and getting out of this whole toxicity that I believe revolves around the single era. Now, I have to bring some context to this. In fact, it's kind of an add-on, I'd say, to the episode of being open and ready for love. And if you listen to that one, or regardless of if not, I went to the orchestra. I had a beautiful little solo date for myself. But I did have this download, this little intuitive nudge from source, from my higher self, that, I was questioning, does this mean I'm ready for love? I'm open, I'm curious, things like that. So I guess you could say it's intensified from there. So I am not saying that I don't love my single life. I absolutely do. I'm not saying that I was lying 6 months ago and I'm just like, no, I don't want a man, because there's a lot of truth in a lot of what I was saying. I am so happy and content in my life that there's almost this fear of letting someone in is the best way that I can describe it. But I just feel that things within my heart have really opened up so much more so since that initial little nudge of maybe I'm ready for a relationship again. Maybe I am ready for that. Whereas now I'm in this space of, yeah, I'm just done. I'm done with this whole era of being happily single. Yes, I am happy single, but I'm actually ready to call love in now. And I'm owning that. I want a man. I want a relationship. I want to bring in my divine masculine. I am a single woman and I actually want to have a relationship. I'd love to meet my person. So if you can relate to any of what I'm saying right now, or you just like hearing my journey of all my twists and turns of this journey called life, then this is the episode for you. But, I don't even know where to start. Actually, yes, I do. I'm going to start with a post that I put on recently onto my social media. I'm just trying to find it now. I've been single for so long that I've forgotten what love even feels like. I'm not talking getting excited over the text or the rush of a flirty date, although to be fair, I can't remember that either. But I'm talking past that infatuation stage. It's that deep love of a safe, secure relationship. Also, it's important to point out I'm specifically talking about a romantic partnership love only here. Of course, I love my family. It's been 6 years since my marriage ended, and sure, I've been on several dates. I've even been in 2 very short relationships, such that I don't even class them as they came from me being broke, bored, and lonely, or as I would describe that person now, I was vulnerable, my self-worth in the bin. I made a decision 20 months ago after coming out of my last relationship, which woke me up to my deep wounds that had led me to accept absolutely less than the bare minimum, but more importantly, controlling and manipulative behaviour. I chose celibacy, complete removal from the dating scene, no casual messaging, nothing. And the thing is, as much as I've healed, learnt, grown, and gone all in on myself with zero distractions, there comes a point where you look around and think, what if this is it and I don't ever meet my person? The thing is, when you're on a deep spiritual journey, you're crystal clear on your values, your standards rise, you're no longer impressed with bare minimum effort or surface level communication. Your energy becomes so sacred. Sometimes it's as though no one stands a chance and I've got fuck off written on my head. I may have forgotten what it feels like to love, but I know I'm worthy of it. I know I'm doing the work to ensure I'm in the best place to invite it in. I know I'll have an incredible partnership someday. I know that being in a relationship won't actually make me happier, be chosen or worthy or any more valuable simply for being in one. And I know that my most important relationship will always be the one I have with myself, and I vow to remain devoted to her no matter what. That's a beautiful post, if I do say so myself. But just around all of that, yeah, obviously the post came from another download of exactly that. I can't remember what it feels like to fall in love. Does anyone else relate to that? You know, that you've been single for so long, or maybe you've blanked out a past relationship for various different reasons, trauma or what have you. There could be so many different reasons, but I just don't remember what it's like to, even like I say, even the rush of getting a text from someone that you're messaging, or that you can't wait to go on your first date, or coming home from that date and thinking, oh my gosh, I like this guy, he's nice, whatever. I don't remember what that feels like, and kind of sad about it, I'm not going to lie. But I suppose in a way I'm almost very excited about it as well, because I know that the next time that happens, it will feel like the first time all over again, and it'll just be such a lovely feeling. I've been single for a long ass time now, 6 years, as I said in that post. It's been 6 years, and yeah, I've had a couple of dates, slept around, that's another story, but I have had 2 relationships. But like I say, I wouldn't even class them as relationships, because they were more just means to an end, to be honest. You know, the one that I was with in Bali, and this is where I say that it came from me being broke, bored and lonely, because I feel like I was with him just to be fed, like to have shelter, accommodation and food on my plate, which sounds fucking awful, like, and I have to laugh at it, but right at the time it was survival, yeah. And that's the sad thing, isn't it? Because the truth is, like, let's be completely honest, the majority of people that are in relationships are actually in a relationship out of a place of need. And that's just the God's honest truth. And that's a sad state of reality, that people almost get to the point where they depend on someone. So yeah, maybe it did start off very lovely and dating and all that beautiful good stuff, but then eventually it gets to the point, like, I have conversations with people all the time, and they say that, I'm going to say they say because it's never the reality, but that they can't move on because they live with this person and they don't have the means, you know, whether it's financial or what have you, to leave, you know. And by the way, I'm not even going to broach the topic of domestic abuse and things like that, because that's a different thing altogether. But again, just to briefly point out that there are many, many people in relationships that are abusive, but they still don't feel that they can leave. And actually, I, hand on heart, being with someone that was not abusive in the sense of, you know, no violence and not horrendously mean, and this is me dampening down this, but there was coercive control, 100% categorically. And, you know, I knew I needed to get out of that relationship. And it took me 6 months to fucking build up the courage to leave. And I've said this before, but it was 100% my higher self that took over from me in that moment and ended that relationship. But I've gone off on a tangent there. What I was trying to say is that I know it's not easy to leave a relationship. I'm not here saying, look, if you wanted to, you could. It's not about that. I know how difficult it is. But the concept that I'm getting at is many of us do become trapped in a relationship. So I'm downplaying my whole Bali experience and laughing it off and saying it was because, you know, I just needed a roof over my head and food on my plate, and I can laugh about it now. But at the time, it was really sad because this guy, he wasn't horrible, but I deserved so much better. I really, really did. But that was where I was at. That was what I attracted in. That's what I accepted. Yeah. And then, of course, the second relationship that I got myself into when I was back home. But again, like, it's funny, I didn't see how vulnerable I was at the time, but I was in a business that wasn't making any money. I hadn't managed to get a car yet because I had no money, so I was on the bus or in taxis and things like that. I was back living at my mum's, you know, obviously, you know the story, I don't want to keep, like, repeating myself, but I was of course I was fucking vulnerable. It was funny, I didn't feel like I was, but of course I fucking was. And essentially I was broke, bored and lonely. And this guy comes along, gives me a tiniest bit of attention, and it's like, well, I'm going to go along with it. And then one thing leads to another, and there I am, being not even being given the bare minimum, but of course being manipulated, controlled, all of that. and just going along with it. So long story short is, in these 6 years and these 2 very short relationships and a couple of dates and sleeping around and stuff, no one has ever made me feel the butterflies, the warm fuzzy feeling in my heart, the safety, the security, that real sort of knowing that, oh my gosh, this person is amazing. I want them to be in my life. They make me a better person. The connection that we have, the love that we have, the things that we do together, our joined values. And I've actually mentioned this to a friend, and I don't want this to sound big-headed, so please bear with me here. But also, I feel like I've been in a couple of situations where the guy has been inspired by me. You know, they would literally say, oh my gosh, you know, doing amazing. You're working on this business. You've lived in Bali. You know, you've got your own house. Because obviously, as you know, I own a property. I just wasn't living in it. So they were like bigging me up, you know, and it's like, I want that. Why am I like, I feel like I've just been, and again, not to be big-headed, but above the men that I'm meeting. So I want to meet a man and be like, oh my gosh, he's so driven, so successful. His mindset is so strong. He's emotionally intelligent. You know, he's got his shit together. And I don't even mean all on paper. I mean in mind, body, and soul. I want that. And I'll be frank, I've just not had it. And that's 6 years. And it's very easy to then, as we've said before, as I've brought up a couple of times, you know, to compare yourself, because in that same time window, well, I remember saying it when I was off to Bali. So that was in 2022. So that was 2.5 years after my husband left me in the January. I was flying out to Bali in the July. And I remember at one of my therapy appointments, I said to my therapist, I said, I just feel like in the same 2 years that, you know, my ex-husband has, you know, moved on, met someone else, got in a house. I think she was pregnant at the time, or they just had the baby or whatever, and they were engaged. And in those same 2.5 years, I'd just been fucked about by men. I was like hungry for even a text back. It was pathetic. It's pathetic. But again, I'm going off on a tangent. This is the sort of shit that goes round in my mind. And I'm sharing all of this because I know that so many of you will relate. We can send ourselves crazy, can't we, with comparison? But I miss that feeling of love. I honestly, like I say, I miss it. I mean, I can't even say that, can I? Because I just don't remember what it feels like. Sometimes I think back to when we first met, like, for example, my ex-husband, for example, and I try and think back and I think, oh my gosh, you know, it was so easy. It felt right. There was no games, no messing. Everything just flowed and fell into place, you know. There was none of this questioning, as we've all done. What do you think this text means? Or, you know, he's really, really nice when I'm with him, but then he doesn't text me for days. There was just none of that. There was none of that. I knew where I stood with that person right from day dot. And the way I felt about him, that mutual connection that we had, and obviously it just naturally grew and developed, and it was beautiful, you know. Despite everything that's happened since then, it was beautiful how it all happened. And yeah, I can't help but wonder whether that's going to happen again. But that brings me to where I have been. I have been in this place of, I'm just so happy single. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel as though I almost got a bit too comfortable single, to the extent where I've even openly said this to people. I've said this, I just don't know if I'd have time for a man. I don't know if I would have time for a guy. Because even when you get into that like bit of small talk or whatever, I feel that it takes up too much of my time. You know, just back and forth messages, getting to know someone. I ain't got time for that. I was in a full blown relationship. I was married. I was living with my person, and then all of a sudden you're asking them what the favorite food is. Like, really? And the thing is as well, like I say, when you're on this journey, very, very deep and spiritual self-development and things, I ain't got time for this surface level chit chat. You know, I want to know your inner child trauma and, you know, what lessons and challenges you've had and how you've grown through them and, you know, what your resilience is like and your emotional maturity. I don't know how many guys can have that conversation that I have come across. And this is my point. We set these almost opinions of where we're at in life. So my opinion at the time was, I don't think I could even live with a man ever again. You know, I just love my life so much living on my own. It's amazing. I don't want to be held back by a man ever again, because I had that obviously with that toxic controlling relationship. He held me back massively, and I would say that he put me back at least 6 months after I'd ended things. It put me back on my journey, if that makes sense, and my progress and everything. So I don't want to be held back by a man, because obviously I'm really working hard on this business and all the plans that I've got and everything that I want to accomplish. I feel that they would hold me back. Yeah, I don't think I could live with someone. I don't want to be held back. I've not got time for a relationship. Yeah. But also, I don't like to subscribe for this, but we are bombarded with it that, you know, dating sucks. There's no nice men out there. You know, this whole dating culture, throwaway culture, people's mindsets and opinions and values with regards to love and relationships are so differently now, which they are that you know, things have changed dramatically out there. However, I 100% know, hand on heart, that there are men out there who are also deeply desiring the woman of their dreams, and they do want to settle down, and they do want to love a woman just like she deserves. There's that out there. There's men out there who want a woman and want all that just as much as us women want a man like that. And it's just finding them, but when we are ready. So a lot of the tone of what I've set out for myself in the past, which rightly or wrongly, that's just where I was at. Even with these, God, you know, what is it with the men out here? Like, they like, I don't want to be above them. Why can't they inspire me? So I'm thinking that all men are below me, which I hate even saying that, but I'm just being honest of what I have come across. But again, it's what I have come across because it's where I've been at in my mind, and it's what I've attracted in. I hope I'm not losing you all here, but as always, this very much ties into mindset, subconscious belief, repeating patterns, childhood trauma, experiences that have shaped our beliefs, and naturally what we are vibrating at, what we accept in, and what we go on to tolerate. So when I think of a lot of these beliefs that I had, the truth is, what I've realised is that these beliefs actually come from my past experiences. So whether that be my committed relationships, my dating experiences, the good and the bad experiences that I've had, they come from all of that and the beliefs that they have brought me, rather than my future potential. Okay? And that is the truth. I've almost got this negative mindset and space. So of course I'm going to bring that in. Or as I would say right now, what I bring in is absolutely nothing. You know, I do genuinely believe, as I said in that post, that I've got fuck off written on my head, because I don't really get very much attention at all, which funnily enough, everyone just says is impossible. Like, they don't believe it when I say them. And doesn't it make you laugh when people say, like, you know, when you tell someone you're single and they're like, how are you single? Like, I don't know, is that meant to be a compliment? For a start, you could be choosing to be single, as I once was, but even now, just because I'm single, why is that a negative thing? Does that make sense? Oh, I feel like a lot of these episodes lately, but like I say, I've just been speaking a lot more of what's on my mind and what I'm going through. So there's just absolutely no script, no bullet points, nothing. I'm just going off on one. And I don't know how well it's landing, because I don't really get much engagement. But that's another issue for another podcast, which I'm going to record next, because I'm unsure whether I'm going to be continuing with this podcast. So if you do love these episodes, please, I am quite frankly begging you right now, you know, leave a comment, like it, share it, do what you can to save this podcast, because I am really close to ending it, sadly, for a lot of different reasons. Like I say, I'm going to put up another episode on that next. But I am conscious. I am conscious that I sometimes am going off on one. So I really hope I'm not losing you and I am staying semi on task. But you know, from some of the things that I've mentioned so far, can you relate, or is it just me going crazy? I'm joking. I know that it's not me going crazy. I know that there's so many people who think the same, and I know that. I mean, it's like what I said in my more recent post about, I actually said, officially retiring from my strong independent woman era, stepping into my soft, feminine, spoilt, rotten, loved up with a divine masculine era. Bring it the fuck on. I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready for it. And this is what I'm getting at. I know that I'm not the only woman who feels this way, because there is this whole culture right now where we're almost celebrating not wanting love. For both men and women alike, we're kind of celebrating no, I ain't fucking putting myself out there again. It's not worth it. I'm better off on my own. We say it, we celebrate it. Like, no, I'm happy on my own. You know, this is the life I've chosen. And we are more than ever choosing to remain single. It's the God's honest fact. I'm just stepping away from all of that. I'm done with it all. I am ready, and I am admitting that I am ready to call in love. I'm ready to call in my divine masculine. And yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not ashamed. I want a beautiful partnership. I have a lot of love to give. I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm in the best place ever in terms of my mindset, not my actual life. As we know, that's still up shit creek. But in terms of my mindset and all of the work that I've done, I am so open. I am so emotionally aware. I have strong values, boundaries. I have life experience, and with that, it has made things so clear of what I want for myself, but also for another person, you know, a relationship, what I would want in that. And I have a heck of a lot of love to give, and I'm ready to give it out. You know, I've been in this whole self-love era, and as much as I love it, and I do love giving my love to myself, and my relationship with myself will 100% always be the most important relationship. We are with ourselves until the day we die. That is the most important relationship you should ever focus on. That is a matter of fact. However, I'm ready to call love in. It actually inspired me to create, again, another workshop. And this is what I'm leaning more into this year, is these small, intimate containers where we can connect online, do the work, bring in what we want. So if you listen to my last episode, you will know that I have my New Year's workshop, which is actually a week tomorrow. It is Saturday the 31st of January. If you are not on that and you want to have a good year, I don't know where the heck you are hiding, get signed up. I will actually pop it in the show notes for this episode, but you can also reach out to me on Instagram if you are struggling to get signed up, or find the link, whatever. You will find me on at You Deserve Better podcast. Just reach out, ask for the link to sign up, and we are going to create the year that you want to experience and feel and enjoy this year. But more importantly to this episode, I'm creating a Valentine's space. Yeah, and I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it for the women who are like me as well, who, yeah, they absolutely love their independence. They're enjoying their solo time, solo dates, embracing all things self-love, and maybe they're even telling their friends, I'm just happy on my own. I'm not really that bothered about dating. Nah, I can't be bothered. And yet, there's a little part of them hidden inside that actually feels ready to soften up and open up the heart and call in this incredible relationship that we all deserve. Deep down, we all want love. Yeah, regardless of what we've been through and the life that we have, and, you know, everything that we're getting up to and enjoying. Yes, I love my life on my own, but I still want love. So deep down, it is in our human nature to seek out, and we desire connection. It's as simple as. And by that, I mean connection through, like, yeah, a community is highly important as well, and one would say even more important, but partnership, intimate relationship, we all want it. So let's stop pretending that we don't, okay? If you are ready to call in the most incredible relationship like me, and I would say because this is what I'm calling in, is one that makes me feel so freaking glad that I waited and I didn't goddamn settle. Because all of this celibacy, all of this zero messages sent, all of this just not letting anyone in, I know when the right person comes along, I will be so glad that I waited and I didn't settle. So if you feel the same, like if you genuinely are just done with, yeah, I love my single life, like, but I'm just done with this soul strong independent woman era. I want my goddamn masculine man to come and whisk me off my feet and treat me like a freaking queen that I deserve to be. Then you need to join my workshop with me, because like I say, I'm doing it for myself, but I'm inviting you along with me, because this year, 2026, we are calling in love, we are opening our hearts, and we are attracting in the most incredible relationship, that one that makes you glad that you waited and that you've done the work and that you didn't settle and tolerate that BS from that breadcrumber down the road. Yeah. So my workshop is actually going to be on Friday the 13th. Unlucky for some, not for us. Okay, I'm telling you now, it's going to be incredibly lucky for us. It is going to be a potent day. Well, evening. I'm hosting it in the evening. Same as the New Year workshop, I'll actually be recording it. So if you've got plans, I know it's a Friday night, okay? And maybe if you are in your strong independent woman area, you might be out with a girl sipping Prosecco, because let's be honest, I'm actually doing that on the Saturday. On Valentine's Day, I'm going out for brunch, which, yeah, by the way, my Rise community, if you are local to Bolton, Bury, Manchester, that area, and you're not in my Rise community, please reach out to me about that as well, because I host so many meetups, events, little get-togethers. We've got our own little WhatsApp chat where some of the girls have actually made friends outside of the meetups and they connect with each other as well. So get in the chat, get in the meetups, but just to tell you, on Valentine's Day, we're going out for brunch. We've got brunch planned. Like a bottomless brunch, by the way. I think we've got 2 hours of bottomless Prosecco. I'm not a big drinker, but I'm telling you now, I'm going for it. I am going for it because, well, why the heck not? Yeah, you know, it's Galentine's Day. There's 11 of us going. It's going to be beautiful. I honestly can't wait. I think there's 11 of us going, and I feel like there's at least 5 women that I've never met before, if not more. In fact, there could be 6 of them that I've never met before. And there's at least 3 or 4 that don't know each other at all. It's their first time doing anything like this. So super excited for that. Please, like I say, if you're local, get signed up. Again, you can reach out to me on Instagram, You Deserve Better Podcast, to join the Rise group, because I'd love to have you at the brunch or future events that we host. But back to the workshop, that is on Friday night, 7 p.m. or is it 7:30? Honest to gosh, I'm just the worst, aren't I? It will be held online over Zoom, so you can access this. You don't have to live locally to get support from me, to get the code to create this life that you want and to bring in this goddamn incredible man, okay? So you can join from anywhere in the world. It is on Zoom, and yes, I was saying that it will also be being recorded, so I'll be sending that out to you regardless. So even if you did show up but you wanted to do it again, to double the effort, then that's an option as well, isn't it? So like I say, I'll leave the link to sign up in the show notes. But yeah, that is where I'm at. I'm done with this whole, strong independent woman, don't need no man, loving my single life era, self-love club. Like, as much as it's important, and my relationship with myself will always be the most important thing, I want an intimate relationship. I want a man. I want a partnership. And I'm speaking this out to the universe and I'm admitting to it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I don't want you to be either. You can be happily single but still want love. You can be happily single and still feel lonely. You can be happily single and wonder when the heck your man is going to come and whisk you off your feet. But if you want to bring that in, if you're ready to bring that in, then you know what to do. Sign up to the workshop. And if you don't sign up to the workshop, because you're not bothered about all of this, but you want to hear my updates after it, because I will be updating you on when this masculine comes in, because I know that he is due in any day now. I feel it, and after this workshop I know that it's only a matter of time, so I'll be keeping you all up to date on that. Hey, and then we could have some episodes about dating, couldn't we? And I like my dating stories. We'll see. I'll think about that. But that is where I'm at today. That is what I'm admitting to, that I'm just being open, honest, and just so vulnerable and authentically me. This is, I think, what I've been missing in the podcast in some of the previous episodes, where I was just so focused on, bringing the value and the education and helping and supporting, that I'd almost, scripted something out so beautifully that I don't know whether anyone ever thought that I was just like reading from a script, a bit robotic. Whereas this is just me sharing what's on my mind, what's coming to me, and what's coming through me from the universe, from source. I hope you are loving the episodes. Like I say, I will be creating another episode just about my intentions going forward for this podcast, because it's not doing well is the only thing that I can say. So if you have ever gotten any value or just felt seen, heard, understood, if we've connected in the DMs, if you've loved a particular episode, go back to it, pop a comment on it, share it on your stories, do what you can. The only reason I can continue this podcast is through the support of you guys, and I'm just going to be really, really honest with you that I won't be able to continue it otherwise. I don't want to say too much now because it's just a whole episode in itself, but I'm just putting it out there right here, right now, to please support me, god damn it. Honestly, no, it truly does mean the world. I'm messing here, but no, it really, 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 truly does mean a lot. And if you love this particular episode, give it a like, give it a comment, share with your friends, share on your stories. And of course, if you want to call love in, click the link in the show notes, get signed up to that, and I will see you at the workshop. And yes, I'm excited to see what 2026 brings. Things are a bit chaotic, things are a bit up in the air right now, but horse energy, the year of the horse, is on its way and things are on the up, and I'm so freaking ready for it. Let's go. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all ever so much, and you know where I am if you ever want to chat, if you ever want to ask any questions, please reach out in the DMs. I'm always here for you, and I have lots of resources or ways in which I can help you on a one-to-one basis as well, or of course my workshops. But I will leave it there for today. Lots and lots of love. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and I will speak to you on the next episode. Bye.